welcome back to ThatGuyNick. Today I have a new video for you guys. Today I am doing a movie review, and that movie review is of course See How They Run, the new Tom George movie, the only movie I've seen of his, starring Sam Rockwell, and I have to cast this up here, and gonna butcher this name, Saoirse Ronan, Harris Dickinson, Adrian Brody, and so on and so forth. So I first found out about this movie while going through Letterboxd and Sam Rockwell's filmography and seeing this movie coming out in 2022 that I had no idea about. So then I watched the trailer and went, that looks pretty solid. And then I went to go see it today. I've known about the film for a while now, but I've just been waiting for the movie to come out, and I didn't realize it was dropping in September. So then, obviously, on Wednesday, I bought tickets. I am here on Friday. I just got back from the movie. And honestly, that was a hell of a time, to be completely honest. Don't know why I said honest twice, or honestly twice, but here we are. So first and foremost, let's just get right into this. Sam Rockwell was great. I think he really fit the persona of his character, the inspector, as they call it. He's very tired looking, very sluggish, very kind of just like he doesn't care, but he does care, you know. And I think Sam Rockwell just does a great job pulling this character off, and I really loved the inspector in this movie. Saoirse Ronan, who played the constable, she was hilarious. One of the big things in the movie for her is that she talks too much, and she does, and I guess that makes a lot of funny moments between the inspector and constable, and I think that was a really good part of the movie. They were really the only two characters that I really cared about a lot. Adrian Brody was pretty cool to see. I like Adrian Brody, and I think he's a good actor, and I thought he did great in this. I thought he was pretty funny. Harris Dickinson was a surprise to see. I didn't notice him in anything until I saw his face yet. I'm like, wait, he's in this movie? Because I only saw the trailer once, so I just completely forgot that he was in this. I didn't even read the cast list before seeing the movie either, so I was kind of like, oh shit, he's in this. But he was great. For the most part, I think they could have used him a bit more, but I feel like this movie was really focused on the inspector and the constable. Now, the one thing about murder mysteries is that, especially with this one specifically, is that you have to have the characters surrounded in the mystery need to be likable. You need to be able to enjoy them. And in other movie mysteries, you really care, but in this one, none of the other characters I really cared about. Honestly, a lot of them felt kind of flat note, one-sided, and I think that's the biggest negative of this movie, is that all the other characters felt kind of not that interesting, not good. I think that would be the only no, that's not the only biggest flaw. The other flaw is the writing. Of course, this movie is, I think, it's definitely a comedy, and it does play into that very well. But I think, at the end, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but when the murder suspect is revealed and all, it kind of felt underwhelming a bit, honestly. It was kind of like, oh, okay. When it's mainly because I had really no interest in the other characters. It's because I really had no interest in the other characters, nor did I have interest in, who the murderer was. Obviously, what kept this movie going and what kept me intrigued was the inspector and the constable's relationship and the back and forth. And, of course, that little bit of mystery of, I want to figure out who did this. And a part of me just really was thrown off by how this movie went, you know. I was really expecting, oh, cool, we're going to get a full-on murder mystery, because I'm used to that, bad examples, but Death on the Nile or Murder on the Orient Express, both movies that a lot of people don't enjoy, but I do find those movies very good, and those movies, I think, do, for me, a great job leading on that mystery, making each character, well, different and intriguing, and you actually hate that character or enjoy that character. Of course, the biggest example of a great murder mystery is Clue. It's an old movie, but it's one of my favorite movies and favorite murder mysteries. one of the classics especially. Another great is, of course, Knives Out, you know, getting a sequel this year. Very, very excited for that. Movie trailer reaction down below. Anyways, not the point. You know, with Knives Out and Clue, you know, you love those characters. You get intrigued by the mystery. You know, there's something bigger going on. Here, it just didn't feel like it. You know, it felt like something was missing, and I don't know if that was the plan for it, but just something felt off, and it was with the characters and the writing, and I guess the story plays a part. And I was really thrown off by it. It's not that I didn't, and I don't. That doesn't mean I hate the movie. It doesn't mean I dislike it. I still enjoyed it, but it really felt a little hard on those spots that I was like, okay, well that's kind of, you know, it's not that it felt repetitive or something. It just kind of felt a bit dull at the end. I know it sounds like I'm harsh about it, but that's just how I felt. And I think that's pretty much it for negatives. I don't want to drag on the negatives, but I think so. At the end, to finish off my spoiler-free part of my review, I think of course the Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan carried this movie like 100%. Adrian Brody carried it when he was in it. So did Harris Dickinson too, and every scene they were in, I think, will really stand out. You know, really stood out, especially with Constable and Inspector. So, and of course, the writing is, of course, off, but it's also really good at times, especially between Sam Rockwell's character and I'm gonna just say Constable and Inspector now. Between the Constable and the Inspector's characters, and the comedy's pretty damn funny. I'm not gonna lie, because there were some moments where I pretty much laughed out loud, and some facial comedic moments, and just certain scenes that were really good. Also, the editing was fantastic. It reminded me a bit of Wes Anderson's movies, which was the first thing I got from watching the original trailer. I was like, oh shit, that's kind of like Wes Anderson type feel. But and the cinematography was really good. I did like the score and the music. The music was very jazz esque, and I very much enjoyed that because I love that kind of music. Anyways, I think that's it for my spoiler review. So now I'm going to go on my spoilers. So here's the timestamp to where the spoiler review ends, so you can go right there and see my final score for the movie. Anyways, spoilers. So at the end of the movie, the killer's finally revealed. Turned out it was an usher from the beginning of the movie who got hit on the head by a sandbag. So the mousetrap, I don't know if this is a real story or if it's fake. I'm very obscure on the history about this. But in the movie, the mousetrap that Agatha Christie wrote is based on a true story of a murder of a. I don't think he was murdered. No, he was murdered. I don't remember exactly. I kind of lost a little track though. It's based on a true story about a murder of not a murder or a death of a young child, who and a brother. The brother lived, but the youngest passed away. And because the British service failed them, they were both in foster care, and they went through hell, and the youngest passed away. He was 6 in the movie. So then Agatha Christie found that story of public is everywhere, and she turned it into The Mousetrap, a murder mystery movie. And the oldest brother, who later grew older and saw them in when the play came out, he watched it, and he hated it because he wanted it. He felt like it was distasteful. It wasn't up to, like, he thought it would tell the true story, you know, something perfect, someone who could get the story right. And when he saw it, it was nothing like that, so he absolutely despised it. So he decided to try to stop the play. And then sooner or later, there was a movie deal to turn The Mousetrap into a movie. So they got the director, Adrian Brody, in this movie, came in, and he was, he plays an American in this movie who was blacklisted in Hollywood. Anyways, he's in the movie, and he's trying to direct the movie, and there's another writer, if I can find his name, played by David Oila. I'm not gonna pronounce it because I don't want to fuck it up. Who played Mervyn, who was the writer for the movie. But anyway, he decides to kill them both to try to stop the movie from happening and also stop the play from happening. And then it all goes up in flames because it doesn't go out the way he planned. So then he lures everyone into a house like a normal murder mystery movie, and he confronts everybody. Obviously, he doesn't win. He gets shot and he dies. Actually, he gets hit over the head by Agatha Christie and gets knocked out and dies after getting shot in the knee and 2 gunshot wounds. But anyways, so yeah, it was an usher the whole time, which is why I was like, I did it wasn't really a twist, but I did like how it was, it was kind of like a flashback a little bit to, like, it's the original, I think it was David was his name, Dennis the usher, he was the murderer, Charlie Cooper, so he's in and out of the film here and there, but what I did like that it was his older brother a bit, but again, Dennis didn't really have the biggest role in the movie, nor did I care about his character. So I think that's kind of in the play about how, like, let's make it the least unexpected person who's not just there off to the sides. So that's kind of good. But but they should have, if they wanted to do that, then they should have just put a little more focus onto the original story and what actually happened in the real world that the Mousetrap is based on. Then it would have been like, oh, then that makes, sense. Because instead we got the whole backstory where the villain breaks down. And what's funny, actually, is that during the movie, you get flashbacks. And Adrian Brody's character, Leo, is like, he's American, so he wants to make it a big action motion picture kind of thing. And Mervyn is like, who's gonna, tell the whole story? Who's gonna connect all the dots? And Adrian character Leo, he's like, I don't know, the villain or something, I don't know. So it turns out it was the villain who spoke it, which honestly I think that was supposed to happen. I think that was just a prediction to be like, oh, well, that's how it went down. Funny enough, early in the movie, he has he has a bunch of storyboards that he's showing off to Mervyn and John Wolfe, who's producing the movie. And the storyboards break down the ending of the movie picture, The Mousetrap. And at the end of the movie, it's the same thing going down. The house burning down, the shot to the leg, shots to the chest, the constable coming in taking the shot, although the constable didn't take the shot. It was actually Inspector. He survived, though. But, it was kind of funny how it was a breakdown. And while it was happening, I was like, that's a bit clever. So I did enjoy that. I just felt like at the end of the day, there was just something missing. And throughout the movie, the inspector and the constable have this whole back and forth, and the constable has a thing where she likes to jump to conclusions a bit. So for a second there, she thought that the inspector was the murderer. She thought the inspector was the murderer, but he wasn't. And then he's all like kind of pissed at her a little bit, but not really. That didn't get explored. Actually, it's just like a little hint off, and then up until the end, they finally like got together and they're like, okay, no, reconciled a little bit, sort of. I don't know, really. It's just something felt a bit off. Anyway, that's welcome back. That's the end of my spoiler review. So welcome back if you're coming back in. Welcome back to the ending of my review. I just went off about spoilers and stuff. Didn't really say much that I needed to say before. Anyways, so my final score for this movie is going to be a 7 out of 10. Yes, I know, it felt like I bashed the movie a bit too much, but at the end of the day, I did have a good time with it. I just feel like the mystery in the murder mystery was missing. That's what I feel like. There was murder, but there was very little no mystery. And I actually kind of predicted the ending too, if you go back to what I said in the spoiler part. Don't watch it if you haven't seen the movie. But I actually kind of predicted the ending a bit, which was surprising. Anyways, though, I think that's the end of this review. I think it was a solid movie. It was alright. I do suggest you go see it, because it is enjoyable, and I think you will have a good time with it. Anyway, that's the end of this review. If you can, please like, share, subscribe. And I will be back tomorrow with another review, and I will be watching the, well, I won't be watching, well, I will be reviewing, The Woman King. Sorry if this review was all over the place. I'm trying to head out and go shower and shit. Anyways, peace out, and I will see you in the next video. See you in the next one. Jesus Christ.